Welcome to the Hey Mama podcast. We're your hosts, Tessa and Shaina. We are sisters, mothers, and doulas and are passionate about living an intentional life and all things motherhood. This podcast exists to create community as we learn how to delight in motherhood together.
Join us weekly as we chat with women about anything and everything from non-toxic living to women's health to feeding our families and our favorite topic of all, birth. We are so glad you're here. Hello, and welcome to the Hey Mama podcast. We are so happy you guys are here. Today is going to be an exciting, hopefully informational, hopefully helpful episode. We're going to kind of go into birth prep a little bit and ways that you can prepare your body, prepare mentally, prepare physically. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. But before we get into that, Tessa, how was your week? What did you do? What were the highlights? Lay it on us.
I had a good week. These weeks are going by really quickly, even though I'm like, I don't know what I do every single day, right? No work. It's great.
You do a lot.
I do a lot.
You run a household.
I went to somebody else's mama's group this week, and that was one of our sweet friends. You know who you are. And that was very fun because I just got to go participate that way and bring Sage, and he was a wild boy. But yeah, I think just kind of going through the days, chugging along, feeling like we're getting close to baby. And yeah, actually, I was going to say, I've heard a lot of feedback with some of the ladies, and they were telling us that people are actually listening to the podcast.
That's amazing. It's not just our families. I'm kidding.
It was just so encouraging to hear through other people's just eyes and like hear how they were feeling, just a response for it. So thank you guys for listening. It means the world to us.
Yes.
Truly it does. But Shaina, how was your week?
It was good. It was a good week. I really enjoyed the weather. The sun came out a little bit more.
Did.
We went on some walks. River's new favorite thing is to look outside and go, outside? Outside? Shoes?
I
Outside?
cannot.
Gets her little Crocs on.
Sounds just like a princess.
Ready to go outside. It's so fun. She is just exploding with her vocabulary, and it's been so cool. And it was a good week. We had a fun little weekend with the family, and it was chill. And I was a part of a really beautiful birth this week. So it was exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, it was
have
good.
A birth glow about you.
Thank you, girl.
Give it to me.
You already have
soak
it.
it in. Those rosy cheek glow. Well, we are going to today kind of go over 3 different aspects of prenatal prep. And a lot of this is really what we focus on with our clients. Yeah. So you guys are just getting this information today from us. So hopefully you can apply it to your life right now, because honestly, it's wherever you are, whatever trimester you're in, this can be something that you start to use if you're not already doing it. So we do hope that it is helpful.
Yeah.
So I'll start with mine.
Okay.
We really like to focus when we kind of talk, especially with our clients, we really get to focus with them with fuel and just kind of fueling their body and proper care with that. So a main thing with us is really teaching them how to kind of, whether it's kind of schedule out the day, but just starting with the minute you wake up, right? So with the minute you wake up, with eating something small, typically we just try to say, have it by your bedside, have it something easy right there that you can just grab, and it's not going to be something you have to think about. That also is just going to help with any kind of morning sickness, taking that away, just eating something immediately. So focusing on that, and then really focusing, especially in the morning, huge believers of just eat well in the morning and set yourself up for the day. Because we just, as Americans and as women, we're not eating enough, but we're not eating enough protein in the morning. And we love to just, skip ahead and not treat our bodies well and drink black coffee on the road in traffic. So we're really trying to.
It's not a meal, people. Cup of coffee is not breakfast.
No, it's not.
Just a little PSA.
But especially when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
You and that sweet little baby inside of you need so much more. So really focusing on good high fats, protein, carbs, and just really trying to have a balanced meal. So that truly can just be a big change for a lot of women, just that you actually have to implement that. We really are big believers of prep the night before, especially if you're working full time. Like, please, please, please prep the night before. Overnight oats, any kind of protein pancake, right? Like anything.
Egg bites. You can have a smoothie already ready to go that you just pop in the blender.
A quiche for the week, which is packed with protein and cheese and fats. And so truly there's so many options, but and then again, eat something that sounds good to you. Yeah. Because that truly, like, not just, okay, I have to scarf this down. Eating food that sounds good, eating food that just is going to nourish your body, but you also are excited about. So that mental shift too, of like, it's okay. Like, I'm excited to like go eat
steak and eggs.
Oh, well, yeah,
always
that too. But yeah, then we really try to focus as well with hydration, and that can look like a lot of different things for mamas, but really just upping water intake. Again, the majority of us are not drinking enough water, and we just try to be creative with that, whether that's kind of doing like lemon water, coconut water, chia seed water, literally anything, eating seasonal fruits, right? Yes. That are going to be really hydrating to you. Adrenal cocktails, which if you follow along with us, you know, we promote those all the time. And our babies drink them and we drink them. So just things like that are just really going to start hydrating you, nourishing you, because hydration in pregnancy is so, so key. So we really want to that can help with avoiding a lot of Braxton Hicks, a lot of uncomfortability in the uterus, anything like that. So
helps your body stretch. Real quick, do you want to say what an adrenal cocktail is for someone who does not know?
Sure, I will. Thank you. So typically how we love to do it is we do part orange juice, part coconut water, sea salt, and then collagen. And normally our collagen has protein in it as well. And what that's giving you is just this perfectly balanced drink with potassium, your minerals, and electrolytes, and super, super hydrating. So it's delicious. You could do it with grapefruit. You could do it with lemon. You can do it with limes. You can do it with other citruses. Honestly, why would you not just do it with orange juice? It's so good. Yeah. But you kind of have options too, just to kind of change it up. So,
but the sea salt and the coconut water and all that, it's a perfect balance for what your minerals need. It helps with your adrenals. That's why it's called an adrenal cocktail, and it helps with your cortisol levels. So it's just really balancing in general. So it's wonderful, whether or not you're pregnant.
Exactly. Yeah. Our husbands drink them too.
They do.
I know mine does. I don't know if yours does.
I know it says it's just a little saltier than I remember.
I love it. Another key factor would be to really start upping your collagen. That's going to help with elasticity, right? And just everything with your growing body, growing uterus, and just kind of helping to like boost you. So we like to add it to literally anything from overnight oats to pasta sauce, to literally our adrenal cocktails, to smoothies, everything. Yogurt. I was a milkshake, cereal. When I was like, I didn't get enough today. Let me whip it into my cereal. Yeah. Don't be like me. Don't do that one. But there's just so many ways, easy ways to add it in. And again, our favorite brand is Perfect Supplements, and it dissolves so easily, and it is not flavored, and it is grass-fed collagen protein. So it is a really, really good one. So we love that, and we'll link that for you guys as well. But just having one that doesn't have a flavor, so it is super versatile, is really, really nice to do. Add it to your cookies and your brownies, whatever else. Another thing for fuel that we would like to focus on, and again, you can start in the 3rd trimester with this one, would just be to focus on red raspberry leaf tea, is to start kind of preparing your body and again, your uterus, strengthening those muscles and toning it. So red raspberry tea, we do hot or iced. I like to make, how I've been doing it, even though it's been kind of cold, I know I will drink it more, is when I have my giant pitcher made for the next 3 days, and then I sip on it throughout the day, and that just makes it so much easier. I don't know how you did it.
I did that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I would make it little like mocktails.
Exactly.
Like add some sparkling water, some fresh fruit. It tastes yummy and different.
Coconut water, chia seeds. Again, just making life fun in whatever way. So the red raspberry leaf tea, and then also dates. That again is going to be just something you can start in the 3rd trimester. So again, 1st, 2nd, you can skip on through. And dates is another one that you can truly add we say this about a lot, but to anything with whether it's smoothies, whether it's overnight oats or oatmeal, if you want to do date cookies, if you want to do date bars, so many easy
Dates
ways.
and goat cheese, dates and bacon. You can eat them
all the ways.
Dates wrapped bacon.
Yeah.
Wrapped bacon.
Yeah. But then, probably the last one would be to really focus on upping your magnesium. And that can be whether it's just starting to implement more Epsom salt baths or just doing your magnesium lotion at night, which we both love to do and do whether or not we are pregnant.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of brands that we really love as well, both Earthly and 8 Sheep Organics. So we could link those for you guys as well that we love. And just starting to kind of up that magnesium, that as well is going to help with just overall digestion during pregnancy, which is huge. And then again, Americans are so deficient in magnesium. That's also going to help with headaches, carrying over for a lot of different just hormonal symptoms. That you might be feeling throughout pregnancy. So that kind of wraps up fuel.
Yeah. That was great. You did great, girl.
Thanks.
The next one that we love to focus on, our next point is movement. We have a few movements we love to encourage mamas to do, starting at whatever point you're in. And that just improves and helps with optimal positioning for baby. And we really encourage it if you're in the 3rd trimester to make sure that you're doing them every day if possible. So a few of those movements would be cat-cow. We shoot for 10 minutes a day, which sounds long, going towards 15 minutes a day if possible. And so you could break that up like 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes afternoon, 5 minutes at night. And cat-cow is just such a good position, really helps get baby in the right position, can help ease some of maybe pressure on your back against your spine, just kind of makes room, which is beautiful. And then the next one would be pigeon on each side. And you can look these up. We'll link a few different yoga videos that you can watch on YouTube, but it's probably things you're already implementing if you're watching any kind of prenatal yoga or any kind of exercise like that. They most likely always include these, but pigeon is wonderful for, again, making space, opening up the pelvis for baby. We love to encourage wall sits. That's not really a stretch. That's more of a workout because you're going to be building up that strength in your legs. Wall sits or squats every day, those are super helpful because a lot of mamas like to be on their legs or like to be squatting when they're in labor. And so you want to build up that strength and that endurance now so that when the time comes for labor that you're not, rightfully so, but getting exhausted because you're on your knees, you're shaking a little bit more, or you don't have the strength to do that. So we want to build it up. So build up that strength, build up that endurance, because again, it's a marathon. You're not prepping for a sprint. You're preparing your body and your mind for that beautiful day when baby comes. So just implementing these steps now can make that process a little bit smoother for you and your body, which is beautiful. We also love yogi squats. So that's just a really deep squat. You can have that assisted with a few pillows or a yoga block underneath you. And that one, again, just really good for opening, getting baby to drop down and get in the right position. So we love that. And that does feel good.
It feels super good. And I would say it relieves a lot of like any kind of achy back stuff too that's going on. And then even just doing like lateral stretches with your arms while in that yogi squat can feel so good. And just doing like, it's almost a soft twist too, which your body needs, especially during pregnancy as well. So.
And then the other one would just be utilizing your birth ball. If you don't have one, we would really encourage you get one because that is super important for just helping baby get in the right position and helping along the way with all of those things. So especially in the 3rd trimester, we would encourage you could swap that out for your office chair if you work from home, or instead of sitting on the couch, right, after dinner when you're wanting to watch a show with your husband, you get on the birth ball real quick and you do that little few movements on there, watching a show or listening to affirmations or meditations. It's just such a good way to start encouraging that movement that helps baby and helps you also, because those feel good, those like rhythmic movements. So we love to encourage pelvic tilts. We like to encourage hip circles, figure eights. You can do light bouncing if it feels good. Is there any other one you like to, that has been feeling good for you?
Oh,
actually?
I was going to say the pelvic tilts have been really, really good for me. And then again, just incorporating a lot of the figure eights in the circles and just like hip tilts. So another one that I do as well is just when you get on the floor and you have the yoga ball assist you pretty much in almost like a elevated child's pose. So yeah, we know what we're saying to each other. That one's really nice. And then I also do
that one feels great.
Doing the left and right with lunges with the birth ball. So I'm on my knee and I lunge into the left side, having the birth ball be there as a support. And that can be really, really nice as well.
That's a great. Lunges are great. So if that's incorporated in your routine, amazing. And if it's not, you can start now.
And what about postural? Like, how do you like to?
So postural, we always encourage sitting upright and slightly leaning forward, which is not comfortable. But so what you're trying to do, which a lot of women naturally do not do when they're pregnant because it doesn't feel good, but you want to limit slouching. You want to have good, proper posture, sitting upright, standing upright, holding your pelvis in correctly. But then when you're sitting on the couch, instead of slumping in, slouching down, sorry, I got away from the mic, getting low, that's not what we want. So if you're on the couch, you want to make sure you're up and you have some pillows supporting you maybe that keeps you from sliding down, that keeps you from slouching. If you're in bed, use pillows, prop that up behind you to read or whatever you're doing in bed. If you're sitting in an office chair and you're like, I can't sit on a birth ball the whole time, which we totally get, use some pillows, support your pelvis, maybe get under your bottom, one under your bottom, and then a few behind your back or one behind your back. There's ways to sit that is ergonomically correct and then also is helpful for your baby. So that really, really makes a difference in baby's positioning, is making sure you're sitting correctly. And then if you're in the car a lot or if you're driving a lot, you can prop a pillow behind you and again, kind of support your pelvis and get something up underneath you in that way. And that might be helpful. But that's what I would encourage.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. It just really to emphasize with not having a pelvic tilt, right? And so if you know that you always lean to the left side or the right side, just really paying attention to those little things within pregnancy is super important, only because, it does affect overall baby's positioning. And when our pelvis is off, that can have a malpositioned baby, right? So just things like that, that can really help. And there's simple changes, but it does get uncomfortable sometimes. And it's just a relearning.
Yeah. And it probably sounds like a lot when we're like saying, but they really are. The more that you do them, the simpler it is and the easier it is to incorporate into your routine.
And our last focus would really be on breath work. So that's something that isn't as common, that a lot of moms just kind of skip on by. And that is something that we really, really like to implement with our moms, just knowing that this is something that's not only going to take you through prenatally, but also postpartum when it comes to so many different things. But truly, when baby is screaming and you are overwhelmed in that moment, it's going to kind of teach you how to decompress, recenter, and okay, I'm going to take a breath and then I'm going to do the next thing, right? So with our mamas, a way that we really like to practice is we always say just practice on the toilet. As silly as that sounds, it's a really nice area for your pelvic floor is already relaxed. So something that we teach a lot is how your vocal cords and your mouth are connected to your pelvic floor. So open mouth, open cervix, right? And so that's something we say a lot.
Yes.
But it is so, so true that they are things that mirror one another. And it's such a beautiful thing in the design of the body. But so
we'll link that image so you can see it because it is so incredible.
It is. It really is. But practicing on the toilet is an amazing way, whether you are using it or not using it. You can do it both times, but it just really helps to settle down your pelvic floor and for you to be able to connect with it. So breathing and practicing that breath work on the toilet is a great way. We always say, start using it when you are using number 2 restroom, because that is a beautiful way as you actually having something happen to you physically to implement that breath work.
Yeah.
And open mouth, open posture, and breathing out, not holding tight, not clenching fists, not rounding shoulders, not bringing our legs up, and just really starting to teach yourself to keep your feet flat on the floor, to keep your mouth and posture soft and open and relaxed.
Yep.
So
shoulders down,
exactly.
hands open, brow unfurrowed. All of those
Exactly.
things are really beneficial when the time comes also for pushing and baby is ready to come out of your body. That type of breathing is really foundational.
Yep. So we really try to just have mamas work that way and try breathing in through your nose for 4 to 6 breaths, beats basically is what it would be. 4 to 6 seconds. Breathe in through your nose and then hold and then exhale for 6 to 8 seconds. And that is just a beautiful way to start practicing. And again, when you do that 5 times in a row, that is typically the life cycle of a surge, of a wave, of a contraction. So that's what we try to say. Try to do it 5 times in a row. And again, taking breaks if you need to, because that is a lot of oxygen to your brain when you're pregnant. And we can get lightheaded easier. But practicing the 4 to 6 seconds inhale, take a pause at the top, and then exhale 6 to 8 seconds. Close your eyes while you're doing this. Open your hands while you're doing this. And on that exhale, you can really start to vocalize a little bit if you want and just practice and get familiar with what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Of just truly, hey, you guys. But seriously, mamas get embarrassed of this or their husbands get embarrassed, and it's so silly. And we just always show the families like, this is what we're looking for. Because when you bring your voice down low, it's actually relaxing, right? That pelvic floor. So they're mirroring one another. When you are exactly
You're
tight, you're constricting, you are bringing everything so close in with tension, and it's starting to bring up fear. So it's the complete opposite of what we want to be practicing. So just starting to practice those low moans, they're very primal.
Yep.
You will make them without even knowing how. They come out of you, girl.
Yep.
So might as well just accept them.
Yeah. And ways to practice would be like practicing like a moo and ah and oh, any kind of like the vowels or any mooing. We always say like just moo on the toilet.
Yep.
But because truly that's what it goes out to be.
Yep.
And when we're with moms in labor, they'll start to do, a wave begins and they're hitting kind of that peak and they start to lose a little bit of that control, lose a little bit of that breath work. And we are right there with them, mooing away, and we're able to kind of bring that down. And that peak and those moments, you're able to control it a little bit more, which is beautiful. And you can be in that moment a little bit more.
Yeah. Absolutely. Another area to practice would just be to practice on the birth ball. Again, you are connecting your pelvic floor to something that you can actually feel. And that can be really, really good just to know like, okay, your pelvic floor again is relaxed. It's open. It's in a really nice posture too when you're on the birth ball. And it's nice and open just for you to kind of do those breath work practice. And then again, just starting to connect like, okay, I know where my pelvic floor is. I'm going to start communicating with it a little bit more because that, again, is something that's a little bit lost. Like, what muscles am I using? And just starting to understand that a little bit more and how that works with breath. So that's something just we really, really focus on with our mamas and kind of bringing in meditation with that or prayer time with that or whatever you use to kind of decompress, to soften, to focus on baby, to go inward with baby. It's just such a beautiful time. And so why not do it at the end of your day when you're trying to connect with baby, no matter how little baby is, before you even feel those kicks. It can just be such a good time to start to connect, build that just relationship almost with your little one.
You can listen to meditations or affirmations in the bath or have them on as you're going to bed or taking a little rest or at the end of doing yoga. There's so many ways you can implement that or on your ride home. And it's just things that you start to repeat like, my body was created for this, or
your body knows how to birth this baby. Ride the wave, don't fight it.
Yeah. Embrace it. We're embracing it. We're moving with our body. We're not fighting against our body. So all of those things, that mental prep work is such a beautiful way to begin to open and soften and prepare for baby's arrival into your arms.
And as I said, we have a couple that we really like their birth affirmations as well. So Built to Birth and Mama Natural. We can link both of those as well. But they both have such beautiful birth affirmations just to kind of start going through, because it's a lot of it is, and SHAINA always says it so well, but it's such a mental game, and it's 80% mental, 20% physical, that we really need to prepare our minds. So kind of defining what birth is and knowing that you can, but speaking positively to yourself holds a lot of weight.
Yep.
So again, that's what's like, it's not just the physical aspect. And of course, all those things matter so much, but what you're listening to matters. Who you're surrounding yourself matters. The podcast that you're choosing to listen to, the movies that you're letting in at this time, the birth stories from other women who maybe they don't suit you in this season of life. Maybe it's not for them to share. So just thinking about those kinds of things and just kind of how they actually affect what your brain believes is going to be huge. So we have so many podcasts that we always suggest, and we can link some of our favorite as well for those of just kind of brain fuel, right? As well.
Yeah. Filling your mind with positive stories that is the most important thing you can do at this time. So if you don't do a cat cow, all of those things are needed, and we would highly encourage them and recommend them. But filling your mind with positive stories, with things that are not what you see in, media or Hollywood movies of like someone screaming and pulling on a bar and telling their partner or their husband that they hate them and that they're like all of these things where the water just gushing down and then baby comes 10 minutes later. Those aren't a lot of times realistic. So filling your mind with the stories that are like a mama like you, that you can listen to and that you know is like, okay, they've done this. Watching YouTube videos on births, watch all kinds of births and know what they can be and know what to expect and know what you want from watching those. Watch hospitals, watch unmedicated, watch medicated, watch water births, watch birthing in the car. Like there are so many incredible, encouraging videos that you can watch and fill your mind and watch that and have it fill your home. And the more that you do that, it's so important for that mental prep work. So we really, really encourage that.
Yes.
Read books, do all the things.
Yes, absolutely. And we actually were able to put out a little question box this week on our Instagram before we recorded. So we wanted to get to a couple of the questions that some mamas put in. So do you want to take the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first question we got were some must-haves for registry, which is really exciting because we're actually have a really fun podcast episode coming out next week about registry. So we'll kind of talk a little bit about it. But for registry, we always encourage you to put on the things that you actually need. So you want lactation support and maybe a postpartum doula and groceries delivered and a postpartum massage or a prenatal massage. You can put that on your registry. But we're really into making sure that you are setting up your environment, your space, and everything that you actually need. Your baby just needs you. Yes, they need diapers. And yes, they might need a few onesies and stuff like that that you can pick out, or friends will still give you, family members will still give you. But the majority of what should be on your registry are the things that you need. So that's it, right? Like those things that
we really
support.
Yeah, focusing on the services that are actually going to support mama then leads over to supporting baby. Right? Because we just have time again, mama's lost in the sea of breast milk, right? And just getting lost with that. But if they had the resources and if they knew that there were resources available to them, that they don't just have to go straight to formula if it wasn't working out in the first couple of days. So there are choices and there are options. And that's, again, a huge heart for us with this podcast, just to raise awareness that you would know that there are options out there. And what's so cool, living in 2023 is we have so many more options than our parents ever did and resources at our fingertips that truly we need people to use them. So really supporting our birth workers and then, around us and finding lactation and finding, except everything SHAINA said, but truly also acupuncture or chiropractic care there's so many services that could just be beneficial to be on a registry.
Yeah. And it's just realizing, like, just as much as you're preparing for your birth, we need to be preparing for our postpartum season, because that is just as equally going to be a different, beautiful, exhausting time. And if we're not prepped for that, if we have, a beautiful nursery full of things and you don't even know how to use them, or turns out you don't even use them. Like you don't use them at all, which happens a lot of times. And it's just those things could be put towards things that you need. And so remembering that, and I think a lot of them are like, well, it's like selfish, or like, I don't want to ask for this. It's like, but people want to give you a gift. So put on there the things that you actually want and need.
Yes.
Just that's our biggest thing always.
Yes. The next one that we had, the question was, what is the ideal amount of protein for mama and baby during prenatal? And that would be, at this point, we really encourage, okay, if you can do 90 grams of protein, that is an amazing day. The majority of us do not reach the 90 grams of protein just because of how our life is or cost of everything right now. But 90 grams is a goal that we really like to encourage. You could look into it a little bit more and see like, okay, you know, based on lifestyle and weight and things like that, they can affect just a little bit with the grams. But overall, 90 grams, you would be at a very healthy diet with having 90 grams of protein. And again, hiding the protein in easily with collagen, right? And doing just the Greek
liver
yogurts
capsules.
And the cottage cheeses that have secret like high protein amounts.
Lots of eggs, making a yolky coffee in the morning.
Yep.
There's so many ways. Making your adrenal cocktails.
Yeah, just so many ways just to add it in. It doesn't have to be that you have to, you know, eat shrimp and steak and chicken every single day to get to 90 grams. And again, a lot of ground meats are a lot cheaper and are still going to be really, really high in protein. Tuna, which again, you know, this is up to you and if you're comfortable, but tuna is one that's super high in protein.
Sardines,
oyster, and those are all really, and they're all very affordable when it comes to just a clean packaged one. So there are options. It just is sometimes be more creative and planning it out again.
And lentils and avocado and
beans.
So many things where you can get amazing protein from other options.
Absolutely. You want to go on with the next one?
Yes. So our other question we get asked a lot is, can I keep with my current fitness plan? And of course you can. You're going to have to modify as baby grows and as your body expands and changes. But we just always recommend, do not add in something that you've never done when you're pregnant. So if you're a runner and you want to run all the time, you're going to realize more and more that maybe you can't run 6 miles every day, but you could still run a mile and then you walk 5 or whatever fits into your schedule. There's simple things like yoga, very, very moderate, low level yoga, doing stretches. You could add that in. That's very mild, but we're talking about adding anything that's extremely active, that really raises your heart rate, anything like that you don't typically do, we would encourage you not to. So that's typically how we go about that. And always ask your provider because they're seeing you and caring for you. None of this is medical advice.
The next question that we got was, what services are worth having in your prenatal prep? And that would be something that we really, again, we're going to come from a little bit more of a holistic approach on how we are encouraging our moms. And again, our moms do know that. So that the way that we would kind of suggest with that is really working on the prenatal care that you want. So whether that's an OB or a midwife or a birth center, you have choices. So looking at services that way. So what is it that actually makes you feel most at peace and happy and excited to have a baby? Okay, go with that. So looking at labor doulas is a huge benefit a lot of times in birth for mamas, whether it's your first or your fourth. It doesn't have to be that just for your first baby. Another one would be acupuncture that we really encourage as a service, a Webster certified chiro. If you can't find a Webster certified chiro within your area, looking at a nervous system chiro who really focuses on whole body nervous system connection. And then also just one that knows the prenatal body. That's very important. And then also beforehand, even before baby comes, looking into pelvic floor therapy, pelvic floor physio. And a lot of times that can be covered by insurance, which is so great. And a lot of people don't know that. So asking your OB or asking your midwife if that's something that they can refer you to. And so those are some of the services that we are going to believe in.
And sometimes your Webster certified chiropractor can recommend or can give you a nice prenatal massage. We always encourage that in the last trimester.
Yes.
That feels so good, helps everything open, especially as you're nearing your guest state. That is a beautiful way to kind of allow everything to settle and open, and it feels really good.
Yes, calm those nerves.
Yes,
calm the body.
Yes. Okay, the next question was, can I eat sushi? Can I eat deli meats? And you can eat whatever you want. But truly, we believe that if your body's craving it, there's a reason. So if your body is craving that spicy tuna crispy rice, then you might have a little bit. It's whatever you're comfortable with. There's a really good book,
Expecting Better.
Expecting Better.
You can link that.
Yes. And she breaks down all of these things. She's absolutely amazing. Her name's Emily. And
Oster, yes.
we always encourage that read for anyone, but especially someone who is pregnant and maybe someone is telling them that they can't have a deli sandwich. We always encourage, if you want sushi, go get good sushi, get good sushi grade. If you want deli meats or a sandwich, get good deli meats. Like, maybe don't get just the little like Ostermeyer or whatever it's called, like deli meats. Like, maybe you go somewhere where they're actually slicing the turkey for you and making your sandwich, or get the freshly pre-sliced Whole Foods turkey or whatever it is. But we would really encourage reading Expecting Better, because that really helps break down a lot of the information that we're given as pregnant women and helps you make an informed decision, which is what we believe in.
Yeah. And it debunks a lot of the fear.
Yes.
Just knowing we can live life in moderation and be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I know just from the first pregnancy to the second for myself, I've lived drastically different lives just within freedom. And just knowing that when you come from a place of a balanced body nutritionally, you're not someone who eats McDonald's for breakfast, maybe, and Subway for lunch, and Taco Bell for dinner, right? That wouldn't be something that we call a very balanced lifestyle, right? Within food. But when you do come from a place where you are, you're making most of your meals and you're living a life that is balanced that way, that when you do have these cravings, pregnancy cravings, it is coming from a place like SHAINA is saying of just, you might need it. You might be a little bit deficient in that. You might be needing a little bit more of something that week. So whether it's you're just literally craving steak every single night, you probably maybe are lower on iron. Right. Maybe need more vitamin A. So there's just so many things that are correlated when you're living more in that balanced realm. Yeah. So that is one. Yeah. I think we had another one about pumping essentials and pumping
breastfeeding essentials.
Breastfeeding essentials. Is that what the other one was that we wanted to go on? But that one really, I would say, do you want to take it? Because I feel like you're the...
We really encourage seeing a lactation consultant. That is seeing an IBCLC, joining a breastfeeding mom support group. There are so many resources that are absolutely amazing. We'll link a few of our favorite Instagrams, Love of a Little One and LA Lactation. But just knowing and having an understanding of breastfeeding, of how the tongue functions, of how much should my baby be eating, all of that is really, really important and really crucial to know prior to having your baby and prior to your breastfeeding journey, if that's what you're choosing, but also prior to your formula feeding journey, because it also helps you know what to expect and how to best help and feed your baby. So we always recommend seeing an IBCLC or a lactation consultant or joining a breastfeeding group. Those are so important. A few things we always encourage having is some sort of haka or milk collector. Those are so important and beneficial to have, especially in the beginning when your letdown is typically strong or you're just leaking a lot. It helps collect that milk. You're able to save it for later. You're able to put in baby's bath. You're able to put it on their skin. It just helps you not maybe feel like you're leaking all over the place and can collect that milk. And then gives you options of different uses for it. So that's awesome to have. We encourage having some warm compresses. So we love the booby tubes from Earth Mama. There's a few cute ones on Etsy you can get, but those are super helpful, especially as your mature milk is transitioning and you feel really, really full during that time. So having that warm kind of compress can help open everything up. But those would be seeing someone is and getting educated prior is so important.
Yeah. And there's a lot that's out there for free, which is so amazing. So yeah, we will definitely link a couple of our favorites with that. And just knowing, I think another question that we saw was that how much milk do I need to go back to work? And that's just, everyone asked that. And you truly need the next day.
Yep.
So you do not need to have a freezer stash full of milk and milk and milk. You need tomorrow's feed. And it's typically a lot less than you actually think it is. So again, we always want to direct to IBCLCs because that is who we work with and who we respect and we trust with our own babies and that we want our mamas to go to. But truly, it is a lot less than you think you need. So just knowing that there is like, okay, I don't need 3 months worth of milk in my, you need tomorrow's feed.
Yeah, and you might not have all that freezer space, so.
Who does?
Helps you release some of that pressure on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think that would be it for our prenatal prep.
I think so.
Right?
Hopefully that was helpful. We know this maybe was a little bit long, but we wanted to touch on these 3 points and hopefully it was helpful and beneficial. And it just helped encourage you in the path and the vision you have for your birth.
Absolutely. And we can, again, link to some of our favorite books that we did mention, accounts that we mentioned, and Instagrams. Also, another great source for a cookbook prenatally would be the 9 Golden Months. And that would be one that you can just start reading right away. That can really just help give really good ideas because I think half the time it is ideas that we need
for
as
nutrition.
mamas. Exactly. Meals and go-tos. So yeah, we are so, so happy you guys joined us today. And we hope that you can take something away from today's episode.
Yep. So thank you. Have a good day. Thanks for listening to another episode of Hey Mama. We're so thankful you decided to join us today, and we hope you go forward in your day feeling encouraged and seen.
Here are a few ways you can connect with our community and support the show. The first way is to share the show with a friend via text or Instagram. You can follow and leave a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And finally, follow us on Instagram at 4MamaBirth.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for another episode.